So it's looking like we are about to get Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Likely September 2025. Shout out to Turkey Al Sheik. You know, I remember a few years back, man, when people were kind of talking about Terence Crawford fighting Canelo. They were kind of like talking about it because there was a time where Errol Spence was even brought up to fight Canelo. They were talking about Spence is gonna fight Canelo, and that was entertained a little bit, but it never materialized. But it was more of an Errol Spence thing, though. It was more of an Errol Spence versus Canelo. I mean, you heard a little bit about Bud versus Canelo, but it was never really a big buzz as much as it was with the Errol and Canelo. But, after I heard, after Terence Crawford fought Errol Spence, and I think he was on, I forgot what radio show, he was talking to one of the radio show hosts, man. I don't know if it was Charlemagne, was it Envy? It was somebody, but they asked him about, moving up to fight dudes. And I think they brought up Canelo, if I can remember correctly. And then he was like, man, there's weight classes for a reason. And he said, I even know that, and then you started hearing him do like a about face on that. And he started really talking about entertaining a Canelo fight. A lot of people wonder what made him do a 360 like that. And I still, to this day, I can't figure it out, man. And what's crazy is when he said that, when he did an about face on that, he had a lot of his haters. They were saying he just ready to sell his soul. Because if you look at, more recent fights with Canelo, a lot of fighters are kind of tarnished now. Jermell Charlo is one that comes to mind. This dude was undisputed at 154. Presumably, assumingly, man, people believe he ducked Tim Tszyu. People even think he ducked Terence Crawford in a strange way because he knew Bud was coming up there to 154, and then all of a sudden he wants to. Then his hand got injured supposedly, and he couldn't fight Tim Tszyu because his hand. And then Crawford gets up there, and then here comes Canelo. He fights Canelo. And it was strange, man. Then the belts, he had to get, one of his belts got stripped, and then that kind of turned Terence Crawford off because Crawford was on Jermell's ass, and it never materialized, man. But a lot of people believe Bud he just want to sell out for a bag, and I don't know what's going through Bud's head, but I know one thing, man. He want that fight. He want to test himself. Terence Crawford is a competitive dude, so. Of course, the money is involved. I mean, who would be? This is prize fighting, man. This is boxing after all, right? So they're definitely in it to make money too, of course. But I don't think Terence Crawford's gonna go in there and lay down like Jermell Charlo did. Jermell Charlo threw a few shots, but you just saw how timid he was. And listen, before the fight, man, you started hearing Jermell talk like a fanboy. He like Jermell, he look up to Canelo. He respect him and all. Man, your son. When I heard that, I said, "Yo, Canelo pretty much got it in the bag." And I hope, as much as I love Terence Crawford, I hope I don't hear that coming out Crawford's mouth leading up to this fight, man. Because if I hear Crawford say that, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna lose all faith in him winning that fight. But knowing the dog that Crawford is. He gonna say he respect Canelo as far as like, Canelo's a great fighter. You're supposed to acknowledge that because that's the reason why you want to test yourself. He getting in and say Canelo can't fuck with him. Easy work and all. He getting in and say all of that. Then everybody like, all right, so then why you fighting somebody that's easy work? You think it's easy work, So he got to go in there and acknowledge Crawford. When you go in there talking about y'all look up to Canelo and I always looked up to him and this, that, and the third. That's making it look real funny style. That's different. But here we are. 2025, the fight should be coming. And details have not been hashed out yet. But all everybody's hearing is September because Canelo should be fighting this William Skull dude from what I'm hearing in May, Cinco de Mayo. And, I'm just more like, okay, why can't they just get the fight over with in May? How come Crawford can't fight him in May? Is Canelo trying to age Bud out a little bit more? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out because Cinco de Mayo, I think that's a bigger holiday than that. What's September? I forgot what September is for like the Mexicans, but nonetheless, we should be getting this fight. They say reportedly Canelo will be making $70 million. Terence Crawford will be making a career high of $50 million. Big bags for these dudes. And a lot of people are questioning if this is Terence Crawford's last fight. Is he going to sit it out and wait for Canelo in September? Should he take a light touch this year before September? And I gave my opinion on that. I think on my live, I gave my opinion on one of my lives. I think he should, man. I think he should take a light touch, though. Not at 154. I think either at 160 or 168. I think he should take a light touch. See how he feels at those weights. Get acclimated. Maybe even go to 160 and try to. No belt holders up there. Just I would say to try to preserve, as much as I hate saying stuff like this, but to try to preserve that for the fight's sake. I would say take a light touch at 68, man. I would say 68. And take a fight around, what's that? What we in January? Maybe a fight around maybe March. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Maybe March. Would I say squeeze in another fight before Canelo? Maybe that's pushing it a little bit. But definitely a fight maybe March or maybe April. You get into a ring fight. A light touch at 68. Or maybe 60. But I would say 68. I would prefer 68. And then he start training for Canelo. If he take a light touch in April, he start training for Canelo maybe June. He trained June, July, August. You know what I mean? May he relax a little bit, then June, July, August go into training. Maybe that's how I would do it, man. But it looks like that fight is coming. It hasn't been announced, but details, I guess, are being hashed out. Can't wait to hear the official announcement. Crawford, he's an excellent fighter. He's one of my favorite fighters. He deserves it, man, in my opinion, because all these other dudes that Canelo been fighting, they ain't done nothing. From the Edgar Berlangas, respect the Berlanga because he put up a good fight against Canelo, in my opinion. But what I'm saying is, none of them are as accomplished. You know what I mean? John Riders and them dudes wasn't really, they didn't do much in the sport. But Terence Crawford's established. All right, so he deserves it. If they deserved it, he definitely deserved it. So shout out to Bud. Let's get it. September 2025, baby. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Let's go. It's Rebel Life Boxing. Let me know what you think. I'll catch y'all in the next one. And I'm off this.